Mr. P&P here again. Good evening. How are we? We're good. Eventful weekend of football. Weekend just passed. Man, the game, seriously. We're only on week 4 and already madness is happening everywhere. So let's just get into it. I just want to jump into it straight away. We'll start off at St Mary's. Southampton 0 versus Man United. They hit 1 through Bruno Fernandes. United seem to have found a little bit of form. So their lack of form only lasted 2 weeks. But that's what happens in football. These things happen in football. Once you win a game, confidence is there, and all of a sudden you start to motor up the table. So that's what's happened in Man United's case. So fair play to them. I thought they were defensively resolute against Southampton. I thought Southampton played some decent stuff. Man United just rebuffed them. Defensively, they were sound. Pretty much like they were against Liverpool, to be quite honest. Didn't really give up too much. Southampton had a couple of chances here and there, but I don't think Southampton really threatened all that much. And United actually looked quite comfortable throughout the game. Southampton had good spells in the game. They had a lot more possession. But United kept them out. I think if Southampton had a decent number 9, they might have nicked a goal or two with the chances that they did have. A couple half chances here and there, but is what it is. United ended up winning, so they're 6 points now, and they've got Arsenal next. No, they don't. They've got Leicester midweek games. They've got Leicester on Thursday at the Walker Stadium. So I'll obviously do a little bit of a briefing on that as well. Stamford Bridge next. We'll go to Chelsea versus Leicester. Bit of a strange one. Chelsea actually beat Leicester with 10 men. Leicester are a mess. They are a mess. There was actually 0-0 when Conor Gallagher got sent off. And Chelsea went on to win the game 2-1, a double from Raheem Sterling. Leicester are in the mud. It's plain and simple. Fofana's out of the club pretty much. £70 million deal to Chelsea. He's actually going ahead at the moment. That's pretty imminent, I'm hearing. And I'm not sure what Leicester are going to do with that money. I understand that Tielemans and Maddison are still potentially leaving the club also. So there's a little bit of a rebuild to happen there. Chelsea, whilst not being at their best, are always usually, barring last week when they got slapped about by Leeds. I can't get over that. They're usually defensively sound. They're usually resolute, and they showed that over the weekend. Leicester didn't really have an answer to them. I know Harvey Barnes scored for Leicester to make it 2-1, but Chelsea still strong. Ended the match strong, which is kind of what we've become accustomed to when it comes to them and their games. So yeah, 2-1 win for Chelsea. So they get their start of season form back on track, so to speak. We'll go to Brighton next. So that's the Amex Stadium. They had Leeds and they won 1-0. Brighton are not surprising me, to be quite honest with you, because I kind of expected Brighton to do something this season. I know I called Newcastle my surprise packages along with Nottingham Forest, but Brighton, based on what they did last season, were always going to cause problems this season. My problem with them is that I don't think their squad is actually big enough and they still don't have a striker. But again, as I said the week before that, they always find a way to put the ball in the back of the net. I don't know how long they're going to be able to sustain this for, especially since they have lost Neil Maupay now. I think he's gone. So I can't remember who he went to, but Neil Maupay's gone for sure. 50 million deal I read. So they're going to have to dip into the market to find a striker that can actually put the ball in the back of the net. If they do that, I think Brighton might be onto a few bits. Their style of football literally is one of the most eye-catching in the league. And not even just saying that. Brighton are one of the best footballing teams with the ball and without the ball. They're actually quite fun to watch. And that's down to Graham Potter. I think him and Vieira have done brilliantly. I think the Premier League are promoting the wrong managers, Gerrard and Lampard. Legendary players, not necessarily in the manager's game at this moment in time. I think Vieira and then Graham Potter are doing a better job than them. So I do think there's a lot more that needs to be said for Gerrard and Lampard. I don't think they've done anything managerially that's anyone's proud of. I could win the flipping SPL, to be quite honest with you. So, but that's just me, innit? But yeah, good win for Brighton. Second in the league, second, third in the league right now. Madness. This is actually crazy. And they've got a decent run as well moving forward. So I fully expect Brighton to continue this fine form start of the season, to be quite honest with you. We'll go to Manchester City next. That's the Etihad Stadium. Manchester City 4, Crystal Palace 2. Manchester City are one of those teams that they're going to score every game. It's a given. You're not going to stop Man City scoring. Now that they've got a number 9 as well, they're just that team that always find a way. They've done it on numerous occasions. They go down 2-0, 3 goals to 1, and somehow find a way of not losing the game. Same thing happened this week. Crystal Palace went up 2-0. John Stones' own goal and then a wacky Manderson header from a corner. Man City defensively are suspect, but going forward, they're second to none. Haaland hat-trick as well. I did mention last week that I did see Crystal Palace causing Man City a few problems. I did say that. But boy, that second half was something different. That was something different. City just a different beast, to be quite honest. Once they click, I don't see how you're going to stop them. I don't see how. They're very good out wide. They're very good through the middle. So if you do play Manchester City, the deep block is the way forward, and you're going to have to try and hit them quick on the counter like we did to them last season. But as it stands at the moment, this is why I see City win the league. I don't see anyone getting near them at the minute. And for this reason, as we saw over the weekend, that's why they're going to win it. So Manchester City 4, Crystal Palace 2. Though Palace very, very well again. Like I said, I don't see Palace in any trouble this season. They'll give everybody a torrid time. They've got a decent squad, a very, very good manager who will be going places. So there is that. Moving on, we'll go to Anfield. Liverpool 9, which is now level with the current Premier League record, and I believe Man United are in both of them. No, they're not. Man United in 1. They beat Southampton 9-0. Leicester, the other team, beating Southampton, funnily enough, 9-0 as well. Liverpool 9, Bournemouth 0. Same thing with Bournemouth every week, I say. Bournemouth are just not at it. They're not Premier League. They're not. They've got a championship side trying to ball and play open football with every team that's better than them at playing football, if that makes sense. I don't want to see Bournemouth in the Premier League. It sounds harsh, and I'm sorry it does, but Bournemouth should not be in this league. Not one of their players gets into any other team in this league, not one. I think Scott Parker should have known better, should have signed a lot better. No, that's a rout. And funnily enough, I don't see this being the last beating they're going to take this season. They've already lost 3-0, they've lost 4-0, they've lost 9-0. Still above Everton somehow, which is mad. But they are not very good. And that's all I've got to say about them. As for Liverpool, I won't see it as a sign of them turning the corner. They played a very woeful Bournemouth team. And that's that. Not to mention Liverpool will obviously get sterner tests again, and then we'll obviously see how far they've come since the start of the season, but this doesn't do anything for me. Everyone's going to beat Bournemouth this season, so it's nothing really to write home about. Impressive scoreline, obviously. You've got to put the ball in the back of the net at the end of the day, but it is what it is, really. 9-0 Liverpool, matching the Premier League record. I should have went to 10. Give me a real talking point to talk about. Go to 10, innit? 9-0. Couple for Diaz, couple for Firmino as well in there. Yeah, not much to really report there. It does exactly what it says in the tin. 9-0. So beaten. End of, really. We'll go to Brentford next. They played Everton. That was 1-1. I still think Everton are in trouble. Nicked a good point away from home at a really good Brentford who beat United there, only a couple of weeks ago, 4-0. So that's a decent point for them. Everton don't have a striker. They have no creativity in the midfield. Defensively, they're not the best. I don't rate Jordan Pickford that much as their goalkeeper. It's just a mess for them. I don't see Lampard lasting the season. And even if he doesn't last the season, whoever does come in, I just don't see the Everton squad being good enough. They're relying on Dominic Calvert-Lewin to come back at some point and deliver goals to them, but I still think they're bang in trouble. I really do. Watching the game, not much to write home about. Brentford had decent spells. Everton caught Brentford on the counter, and Brentford pretty much punished them for possession the rest of the game. Ended up getting a goal back for the equaliser. So it went the way I kind of expected it to go. I did actually say Brentford to win 2-1, but I'm not shocked at the 1-1 scoreline, to be honest. I did see Everton scoring. I just don't see Everton winning games, which is obviously not what's happening. So they're still winless at the moment. I think they've picked up only a couple of points. But that's where we are with Everton. Brentford, like I said, they'll easily be mid-table. They'll be quite fine under Frank, to be honest. I'm not worried about them in the slightest. Evening game on the Saturday. We're at the Emirates. Arsenal 2, Fulham 1. So, I'm not going to bash Arsenal this week. They're top of the league. I mean, you can only beat who's in front of you. 4 games in, 4 wins. Sterner test will come. I think this was the most stern they've had. I think Fulham were brilliant over the weekend. Could have easily won the game. Arsenal's goals were a little bit lucky. A ricochet for Odegaard, and obviously Leno, ex-Arsenal, and that's what you get for quality like that. I know I said I want to bash them, but I lied, innit? No, you can only obviously beat what's in front of you. I thought Arsenal, good value for the win. Most possession, most shots on target. They had their moments. Maybe could have scored 2 or 3 more. I thought Fulham gave a really good account of themselves. One thing I noticed about Arsenal, they don't like being pressed. And Fulham did that in parts in that game. And that's obviously where they got most of their success from. I do think that Fulham should have bombed the ball in a little bit more towards Mitrovic, though. I really do hope. I hope they do it the rest of the season. But I do think that they could have done more with regards to getting him on the ball. But for what they did, I thought they did really well. Had a really good start to the season as well. Just a shame that they couldn't come out with a result that would have been good for the culture. But as it stands, Arsenal won the game. They're top of the league at the moment. And yeah, it's looking quite sticky at the moment for Aston Villa. That's obviously who Arsenal have next at the Emirates as well. So I do see another beat in there. But I'll top that up in the review as well. Sunday's games will start at Molineux, Wolverhampton versus Newcastle. 2 very, 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 very good goals. Wolverhampton first and foremost, Ruben Neves from almost 25-30 yards out. Absolute wanger. Straight into the bottom corner, open and scoring. Newcastle equalised through Alex Saint-Maximin, who is going to be their player of the season. I can already see and say it. Really, really good volley with the right foot. Keeper, absolutely no chance. But I did call that game to sort of be a 1-1-2-2 type game. So I'm happy that I got that right, because it was difficult to... They both play good football. It was difficult to obviously tell them apart, with regards to an actual result for one or the other. So I thought the draw would be the most logical, and that's what happened. So not really surprised. Again, Newcastle will be my surprise package of the season. They will pick up points. Wolverhampton, again, will be mid-table, as I stated before. So there's that. We'll go to Villa Park next. Aston Villa 0, West Ham 1. Gerrard has to go. Plain and simple. If Aston Villa are to do anything this season with the squad that they've got, Gerrard is not the man to do it. I don't know where it's gone wrong. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't understand why Aston Villa are... I do understand. I said it last week, actually. I think they need to get both Ings and Watkins on the pitch at the same time. They only play with one up top. Doesn't work for them. I think the defence is a bit of a mess. I don't know what's up with that midfield 3. I don't get it. McGinn and Louise are in there. And they've got a third brother in there as well. I just don't understand it. Especially at home in a winnable game against a West Ham team that didn't score or win a game this season. I think you should have gone for it a bit more. They're in trouble, Villa. I actually had Villa to sort of finish around about the 15th, 16th mark. I've got a feeling they might actually drop in now to a relegation dogfight this season if something doesn't change pretty drastically. And it starts with the manager. I don't think Gerrard is that guy. He's out of his depth in this league. Bit like Lampard. I just don't see how their fortunes are going to change. And especially with them going to Arsenal next, I see a 3-0 scoreline to Arsenal, to be honest. And I don't see Gerrard in a job for much longer after that, to be quite honest with you. But it is what it is. West Ham went there defensively a lot better. They've got a lot of their defenders back as well, so that obviously helps. Kept a clean sheet, which is obviously good for them. We go there next, so that's going to be a test for them as well. So they got their first win of the season under their belt. And that's all I'll say about that. Oh, actually, West Ham have actually just signed Paqueta. I've just read £60 million deal from Lyon. That's a massive, massive deal for them. I'm actually a bit jealous with that deal. Paqueta is at West Ham. So, and he'll be eligible to play, or be in the squad at least, against us when we go there on Wednesday. So that's Paqueta. That's done. Done deal. I was reading earlier. Finally, we'll go to the City Ground. Nottingham Forest versus Tottenham, my beloved, of course. 2-0 win for us. Still don't think we were at our best. We've still got a couple of gears to go. But like I said before, it's the start of the season. The only thing I care about right now is points. We've got 10 points. We're third, fourth in the league at the minute. Still undefeated. Harry Kane has scored 4 times in 4 this season already. Things are looking quite decent. Whilst we're not playing well, we are picking up results. We look defensively assured, which is something I've never been able to say in my time at Spurs. Well, time at Spurs, like I play for them. In my time supporting them. Maybe once sort of under Pochettino. But we actually look a lot more resolute. I actually go into games being confident that we're not going to concede, which is obviously good, because obviously if you don't concede, you can't lose the game. And obviously we've got killers up top. I know Son hasn't been in form lately, but obviously that will change. Kulusevski is trying everything he can, obviously, to try and keep the flows going. Kane is just doing what he does best. And then we've got Richarlison, who's actually impacted every single game that he's played in this season, which is free, because he was obviously banned start of the season for the first one against Southampton. But every time he comes on, something always happens. He set up Kane for the second goal as well over the weekend. Keeping up, he's funny. He's fast becoming a favourite of mine, to be quite honest. Just a shithousery. Seriously, it's so funny to see. And Nottingham Forest just throwing the dummies and toys out the pram because they lost. That's all it comes down to, end of the day. It's not showboating. Football is about skill. And if you've got the skill, you should be able to flaunt it. Am I wrong? But that's just the way it is. Tottenham 2-0 winners. Going to West Ham next. I'm going to go into the reviews now for the midweek games. So Tuesday we go to Selhurst Park. That'll be Crystal Palace versus Brentford. One of the 2 London derbies we've got midweek. I see Crystal Palace coming out with a win there. I'm going to go 2-1 win for them. I think Brentford are a very, very good unit. Away from home, I don't think they're as strong, obviously, as they are at home. I think Palace at home are a lot better. I think Zaha should be back by then. I think he picked up a niggle over the weekend, but I think he should be back by then. I'm going with a home win for Palace, 2-1. We'll go to Fulham next, Craven Cottage. Fulham versus Brighton. It's a tough one for me. I'm inclined to go for a draw there. Based on the fact that Brighton still don't have a striker, I do still see Fulham getting a goal or 2, and I see Brighton nicking maybe a 1-1 type game, 2-1, either way. That's what I'm feeling. I think Fulham have started very well at home as well. Brighton, obviously, defensively assured. I think they've conceded the least in the league of everyone at the moment, with just 1 scoring 5 or something like that. It's a tough one to call. I'm going to say a draw. I'm going to sit on the fence on this one. 1-1, Fulham and Brighton at Craven Cottage on Tuesday. St Mary's see Southampton versus Chelsea. Chelsea, I think, will win that 2-1. The last time I said this, and they're away from home at Leeds absolutely pummeled them. So I'm not sure. I think Southampton under the lights is always a good evening. The fans always seem up for it, night games. But Chelsea got the experience. They won't get overwhelmed by that. And that's the reason why I think they'll win it 2-1. But it'll be a tightly contested game. And I do see Southampton getting a lot of chances against this Chelsea team. But again, it's one of those I still see Chelsea winning, just nicking it at the moment. So 2-1 to Chelsea at St Mary's against Southampton. Leeds United versus Everton. That'll be at Ellen Road. I don't see Everton getting a result there. Simple as that. I do see Leeds going out, getting a 2-0 win against Everton. I don't see Everton scoring. I do see Leeds getting a couple of goals. I'm not sure if Patrick Bamford will be back by then as well, so obviously that would help him. Yeah, I just see Leeds as a better unit at the moment than Everton. And at home, under the lights again, I think it plays a massive part. It's almost like a 12th man. And Ellen Road is one of those where the crowd are right on top of you. So I do see Leeds beating Everton on that Tuesday. Wednesday night, we'll go to the Vitality Stadium, Bournemouth versus Wolverhampton. Bournemouth are just useless. And it's not a vendetta I've got against Bournemouth, but they're just not good. They're not very good. I think Wolverhampton are just the better footballing team, and I think Wolverhampton will teach them a lesson. I'm going 3-0 Wolverhampton there. The Etihad, Manchester City versus Nottingham Forest. I do see Forest getting knocked for 4 or 5 here. Steve Cooper's a very good manager, a very good tactician. Forest do play very good football, as I stated before. They almost outclassed us in the first half yesterday. Second half, obviously, we got a lot better. Manchester City are just a different kettle of fish, especially over there. Man City will win it sort of 4 or 5-1 for me. I do see Forest getting a goal. A lot of new signings as well. Obviously, they need to blend and gel as quickly as possible if they've got any chance of doing anything this season. But I do think they'll pick up points regardless. I think their manager's far too good to not. And I do think there are worse teams than Nottingham Forest in this league. But this one will be a massive, massive, massive bonus if Nottingham Forest did get anything out of it, which I don't think they will. City to win that for me. I touched on it earlier, live from the Arsenal Stadium, the Emirates. Aston Villa go there. I see that being a pummeling again, 3-0 to Arsenal, I would say. Villa aren't good enough at the moment. They need to change the system, changing personnel to be a bit more creative, be a bit more cutthroat up top. They're very, very, very blunt at the moment and not causing anyone problems. I think Arsenal at the moment in form, they'll make it 5-5, which I'm not happy about, obviously. But it is what it is at the moment. This won't last forever, of course. They've got Europa League coming up, so there'll be times when tears will start to flow. But at the moment, give them their flowers, let them have their fun. They'll win this one comfortably 3-0, I'd say. We'll go to the London Stadium, West Ham United versus my boys, Tottenham. West Ham, this is their cup final. It has been throughout the years. Every time we're on the fixture list, we're the first team they look for. And obviously, when the games are up, they're up for it. Crowd are up for it. I do see us winning the game 2-1. It'll be tough, though. It'll be tough. West Ham have got their defenders back. I'm quite happy that the fact that we seem to be defending a lot better than we have before. I think we're a better unit than West Ham. We'll be up for the game as well. Harry Kane loves the goal against West Ham. I just don't see another. It depends. I think we'll rotate a little bit. I think Son will be benched or rested, and I think Richarlison will start this game. I do see a couple of changes. Maybe Basuma in the midfield for a bit more power. Probably stepping in for a Højbjerg or something. But I do see a couple of changes from us. But I do see us winning the game 2-1. Anything more than that is a bonus. It's just about picking up points at the minute. So I do see us winning there at the London Stadium against West Ham. On that Wednesday, the final game there will be Liverpool versus Newcastle from Anfield. It's a bit of a tough one. I was sort of juggling in my mind what the scoreline could actually be. Obviously, Liverpool coming off a massive, massive, massive 9-0 win over the weekend against Bournemouth, and Newcastle coming off a decent draw at Molineux. Liverpool maybe to take it 2-1. Wouldn't be surprised if Newcastle picked up a result themselves, though. And it also does depend if Bruno Guimaraes is back as well. I think Callum Wilson's going to be out for a little while longer, so we know he's going to be out. Plus, they do have Isak there now as well, who will probably start the game come Wednesday evening. I mean, that's probably the game I'm going to sort of be keeping an eye out for the most, obviously, other than West Ham Spurs. I'll be keeping an eye out for that game. I think that's really intriguing. I wouldn't be surprised if Newcastle picked up a result there, to be honest. But I do think Liverpool 2-1 just at the moment. And then the final game midweek will be Leicester versus United at the Walker Stadium. Leicester are garbage at the moment. We know this won't last forever. Brendan Rodgers is a decent manager. He'll get a tune out of them soon. They need to get Fofana out. They need to reinvest in the squad heavily. So I do see a couple of deadline day deals for them. Man United currently in form at the moment. 2 really, really good wins. I do see them picking up the win again. I'll go 2-1 to United on this one. Based on the fact that Leicester's defence and goalkeeper just aren't it. United seem to have found form at the right time. I think they are close to signing Anthony as well, so that's almost a complete done deal. I also understand Dubravka's close as well from Newcastle. I read a quote from Dubravka today, Donut. Turned around and goes, oh, I'm leaving Newcastle because I didn't want to be second choice. What, so you could be second choice at Man United with De Gea in front of you? I don't understand, innit? Anyway. Yeah. So that's that. I'll probably do another video on Friday or Saturday, obviously to go through the midweek games, and then probably do another one on the Sunday to go through the Sunday games. But I hope you're enjoying your week. Hope you're enjoying your bank holiday and that. I hope your week gets a lot better if it isn't already. If you're having the best week already, long may that continue as well. Football's back, baby. We're here. Midweek games are going to be on point. I know it. So yeah, I'll definitely speak to you guys again soon, and then we'll do it again.